The biggest mistake I used to make when my baby was newborn is as soon as I would set her down to sleep and she's sleeping, I would take my phone and take a break. Assalamu alaikum Bliifeans. I'm Asma and you're watching Bliifee, where I share Muslim life hacks from my life and experiences as a Muslim in Australia. And in this video, I will be sharing with you how I prayed my Salah with a newborn. So as we all know, newborns are, like I described in a previous video, they are like CEOs that you cannot ask for permission before you pray. Like they won't let you pray at all. So as a first-time mom, I struggled a lot with that. And if you are a first-time mom with a newborn baby, you've just given birth, you've just gotten out of your nifas period, and you are starting to pray and you're like juggling things around, you don't know how to get about it, this video is for you, inshallah. So let's get right into it. This video is only if you don't have anyone to look after your baby during prayer time. So this means that your family is gone outside or your husband's at work and it is prayer time. So if you do have someone to look after your baby, alhamdulillah, all good. But also there are times when someone is looking after your baby and you hear them crying, and that disrupts your salah, that makes your focus stop. So inshallah, these points still apply for you, but this video is mainly for people who are looking after the baby by themselves and have to pray when they are all alone at home with the baby without having anyone to look after them while they pray. So number one is to pray as soon as your newborn baby sleeps. So the best thing about newborns is that they sleep majority of the day. So you have time to do whatever you need to do when they're sleeping. Yes, they say to sleep when the baby sleeps, but of course our salah is more important. And once you're done with your salah, you can definitely sleep with them. So give your priority to your salah. And the biggest mistake I used to make when my baby was newborn is as soon as I would set her down to sleep and she's sleeping, I would take my phone and take a break. So that mistake is something that I want to reflect on and share with you so that you don't make the same mistake as me. So on the days when I would actually get my salah done is when I would set her down for sleep, she would sleep, and then I would right away get up and go to do my wudu, and then go pray my salah immediately. So this would be like maybe give like 5 minutes give and take for wudu and getting fresh, and then 5 minutes or so for fard salah, and if you have time then sunnah prayers or etc. The thing with newborns is that they have a sleep cycle of around 20 minutes. So you have 20 minutes to do whatever you need to do. Don't keep holding your baby after the baby has slept and then maybe putting it down after 10 minutes and then you have only 10 minutes and then you're rushing and everything. Know that you have a 20-minute timer and you have to do whatever you want to do in those 20 minutes. So prioritize your activities accordingly. That was point number one, to pray as soon as your baby sleeps. Secondly, number two is if your baby is awake and you have to pray at a time when they're not sleeping, so it's not their nap time, it's not their bedtime, and you have to pray, then what you would do in that case is make sure all your baby's needs are met. So your baby is fed, has had their milk, your baby has had their nappy change, your baby is now playing, and then you can be ready to go and pray. So if you just let your baby be and you start praying, then you can expect them to start crying because they haven't had their meal yet, they haven't had the drink yet, they are probably uncomfortable from their full nappy, you don't know what's going on. So make sure that the needs are met beforehand and then you can start praying peacefully. So I used to follow this easy routine, which is eat, activity, sleep, your time. So what this means is as soon as the baby wakes up, you feed the baby, and then once the baby is fed, they have activity time, which is play time. They're playing, they're doing tummy time, or whatever activities they have to do in that period of time, in that wake window. So you have some time in that activity period to pray. And you should also know about wake windows of newborns. Newborns have wake windows of 45 to 60 minutes. So what this means is that includes the feeding time and the activity time before they get cranky and they need to go sleep. So once they've woken up, your timer begins 45 to 60 minutes. It could be 45 minutes, it could be 60 minutes. So, and newborns feed for a very, very long time, so that their feed time can even go up to like 30 minutes. So if they have woken up and you're feeding them and it's 30 minutes past their wake up time, you have another 15 to 30 minutes left So you have to make that decision based on that, how you are going to balance your time. You do the nappy change once the feed is done, or whenever your baby prefers the nappy change. Some babies get the nappy changed as soon as they wake up. Some babies get their nappy changed after they have a feed. Some babies get their nappy changed right before they sleep. So it really depends on what you do for your baby, but do what they need to get done, and then you do your prayer so that they don't have a reason to start crying. And if they do start crying, you know that it's because they are sleepy now, and you're not worried in your prayer as well. You're not distracted in your prayer while they're crying and everything. You know it's a 5-minute thing. It's okay. Your baby is crying. They'll be fine. They are safe, and it'll be okay, inshallah. So that's another thing that I had to learn, is that if your baby is crying, it's okay. It's okay. Babies cry. So we do whatever we can to help them. And if they cry at that point, obviously they need you. But once you've done everything you can and you don't have anyone to look after the baby, you just give them some toys to get distracted, give them this activity play mat or something, and hopefully they are distracted for the time period that you pray, inshallah. Next thing is to make your house safe for your baby. So if your baby is on the go, which newborns are not, which is great, so inshallah I'll make another video for how I pray with a toddler or a baby who's on the go. But in this case of a newborn is not somebody who moves around a lot. They're just lying down in one place like a potato and just like looking around at things. They probably can't even see us, they can just hear us. So put them down on a safe place where even if, you know, they roll over or something doesn't come and fall on them or something, you know, just make sure they're safe. That's one point to remember. So that's another thing that you don't get distracted with when you're praying. You're not like constantly looking at them, that if they are okay. If you have pets, make sure that they're not around the baby so that you know the baby is safe while you pray. Have the baby in front of you so that you know what's going on. Number 4 is, once you put the baby down and you're starting to pray, is to pray loudly. So what this means is, for prayers like Dhuhr and Asr, you don't recite any of the surahs loudly. You're pretty much just saying Allahu Akbar loudly, then you're whispering to yourself and you're praying your surah Fatiha and everything else, and then you say Allahu Akbar when you go down in ruku, and Sami Allahu liman hamida when you come back, and then Allahu Akbar when you go in sujood, etc., and then Assalamu alaikum when you finish. So all of these parts are loud, but everything else is not loud. So at least when you are reciting this loudly, your baby can know that you are there. They're not alone. Sometimes if babies cry because they feel like they're alone, they need someone there, just presence of somebody. So that is for Dhuhr and Asr. But when you're praying Fajr, Maghrib and Isha, you have the option of praying and reciting loudly as well. So that is another thing that helps your baby get accustomed to Quranic recitations, accustomed to the fact that you pray, and also getting used to prayers and Salah and all of that. So yeah, praying loudly so that your baby knows that someone is there to look after them, they are safe, they are familiar with your voice, so they like listening to you, especially if you used to recite to them when you were pregnant and they were in your tummy. Yeah, so this point was about reciting loudly. There are so many benefits to this, inshallah, including them being calm while you pray. Next point is to try to pray as soon as your prayer time sets in, so that you are not stuck in the end where you have to choose between a crying baby and your prayer. So as soon as the time for prayer begins, start making the effort to pray. So do whatever you can in that moment to pray. If your baby is happy that everything's done, go pray. If your baby is sleeping, go pray. So that if they do wake up, you know that you can come back to that prayer because there's still time. But you cannot really do that if you're doing this at the end of your prayer time. So this point is about trying to get your prayer done as soon as the time for prayer begins. Now, I tried learning about if we can hold the baby while we're praying, but I wasn't able to really find anything practical, because a lot of from what I read is that nappies are najasa. So if we have a baby on us and their nappy is unclean, so they've peed or pooped, then we can't really pray with that. It's as if we have najasa on ourselves and we're not pure. So holding the baby and praying is not an option, because one, you never know if their nappy is dirty while you're praying. you need to change a newborn's nappy at least 8 to 12 times in a day. So they pee and poop like right away. As soon as you change the nappy, it's like used up. So they always have najasa on themselves. We really can't be holding them and praying. This is why I have all of these tips for you. So this is why I have made this video, because I could not find any video about how to pray with a newborn. And from my experiences, these are the tips for you, inshallah. I know there is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ used to pray with his grandson while his grandson was climbing on top of him. But from what I've learned is this is only applicable to babies or toddlers who move around by themselves. So this baby can crawl, walk, and climb over you, but it's not necessarily a dependent baby. It's only for independent babies. In case an independent baby comes on you and you have to lift the baby and put them away, or they crawl on you and they're on you, on top of you, which babies do when you're praying, it's okay. But with newborn babies, we can't hold them because of the najasa. On the topic of najasa as well, there is a difference of opinion whether the reflux of a baby, the vomiting of a baby on you is najasa or not.
Hi, just popping in while editing this video to say that there are two opinions about whether the reflux of a baby is najasa or not. Number one is if the vomit is less than a mouthful, then it's not najasa. And number two is if it is more than a mouthful, if it is a mouthful or more, then it is najasa. And this is based on the Hanafi opinion.
So based on whatever you follow, here are the tips for you. To avoid that vomit on you, what you can do is get burp cloths. It's a thick piece of rectangular cloth that you just put on yourself when you're burping your baby, so that in case they do throw up, then it's on that cloth and you can just put that cloth for washing. It's not on your clothes. I know as a mother, changing your clothes every single time that they vomit on you is a big task. So another thing I used to do is I would just have prayer clothes that I would pray in and change back into my normal clothes, so that I don't have a lot of laundry piling up. And again, as a new mom, there's absolutely no time for huge piles of laundry. You can't be doing laundry every single day. And on top of your own clothes, you have baby's clothes which leak a lot. There's a lot of poopy nappies that leak a lot, and you're still figuring things out. So there's a lot of leakages, a lot of baby clothes to be washed. And I don't want to be adding any extra work for you. So burp cloths, and if you wish to have prayer clothes specifically for the sake of prayer, even your actual like pants and tops under your actual like under your prayer clothes, those also you can have separate for prayer, so that you just change, pray, change back. One more important point I want you to keep in mind is that it is okay if you are not praying as slowly as you used to do before you became a mom, or as focused as you used to be before you had your baby. It is absolutely okay. What matters is that you are praying and making sure that your fard prayer is prayed on time, not giving your baby more priority over Allah. Allah is still your number one priority, and you have a duty and responsibility of making sure you pray on time. So I know it is very hard, but please don't beat yourself up over the fact that you can't be as focused as you used to be. Don't make that a criteria for missing out your salah, because just because you can't focus or just because you can't pray with that much concentration, don't skip prayer altogether. Make sure that you're still praying. Pray. That's all that matters. Pray. In this moment, all that matters is that you pray. Inshallah, as your baby keeps growing up, inshallah, you will get more time to pray more, with more focus, with more concentration. You can pray more sunnahs, more nafil prayers, and hopefully when you have when you have someone to look after your baby is also when you can pray and focus more in your prayers as well. Inshallah, I hope these tips help you, and if you are a new mom, make sure you subscribe, because I will be posting more content on how I dealt with a newborn, and inshallah I'll also be posting on how I'm currently dealing with my toddler when it comes to religious activities. If you know a new mom, then share this video with them, so that if they benefit from it, then inshallah you get rewarded for it. Comment below any more tips you have for new moms, or any other questions you may have about having a newborn and how to manage all of those things. Again, and obviously, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, live your beliefs and stay tuned to Bliifee.
So my dream for Jannah grows day by day, and I pray to Allah to guide me all the way till I make it to His paradise.